Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division in the City of Lights tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. But before we start, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. If you do want to get the text guides, you sign up on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Links in the video description down below. The most important thing to have in mind here is that you cannot practice these holes from the second tee in the game. You cannot get any practice until the tournament starts, so I've been using old recordings to be able to provide you a guide where it's still up to date way of playing the holes, but there might be another, like an alternative route that isn't in the guide that I will, if so, explain through my voice. So make sure that you're looking at this playthrough as a possibility to get some extra advantage over your opponents, as they might not know how to play these holes from the second tee, as I don't think that they have ever been featured from the second tee in tour play. So let's go with the video and hole number one. Hole number one is a par 4, 10% extra with the drive. We do want to go straight forward. So you can see the second bounce, like we do want the first bounce on the fairway, obviously. Second bounce in the rough above the bunker to then roll out on the fairway. In a worst case scenario, we're gonna go too far and then we're going to have a shot from the rough, and it's still gonna be a very short rough iron to be able to adjust for. The reason we're choosing this route here, even though it's an aggressive one, it's because it gives us a so much better opportunity from here than it would be from the other side. And obviously from here we can go for the dunk, and now from the rough we can obviously also go for the dunk, and will be a much better opportunity for the eagle. If we do have any form of headwind, we need to lay up on the right side. Then my suggestion would be to take a quarterback, go with as much side spin to the right, combined with 4 to 5 bars of top spin and some slight curl to the right, then you're gonna be fine. But if we do get any form of tailwind or like crosswind with just a tiny bit of tailwind, we go straight forward. I would suggest to play with as minimum 4.5 bar topspin if you're gonna clear that bunker. More topspin, the easier it's going to be, and less topspin, the more overpower is gonna be what you need to get. So it is a very good opportunity for an eagle if the wind is in our favor. Otherwise, it's going to be tough if we have to lay up on the right. But nonetheless, 10% extra for the drive. When we play this close, we'll have to have in mind that this is pretty far downhill. So we do need to give ourselves a little bit of room with our adjustment. And that is only because we are on the top of the rough. If we would be staying on the fairway before the rough, then we would be playing that one as under adjusted, as we're gonna follow the hill falling down towards the green. If we lay up and approach the pin from distance, that's a 10% extra elevation. Hole number two, and we do have a par 3. Tailwind, it's long iron. Headwind, and I would also say crosswind, then we're gonna play wood club. So really, especially if there is crosswind, try to mark out, is it tailwind and crosswind together, or is it headwind and crosswind together, so you can choose your club from that. Red ring by the rough line, or like this, slight amount of the red ring inside with the Goliath. That will obviously be a little bit different depending on level on the club and also what long iron you're having. Do not pick the backbone or the Saturn, as it doesn't have the distance as the Goliath has, and we do need that Goliath to get it to where we got there. Also, 20% extra for the approach on hole number 2. Hole number 3, 10% extra for the drive, and we do want to make sure that we're gonna go full blast down the center if we do have a tailwind. If we don't have a tailwind, we need to back up, bounce on the fairway, over to the fairway, and then the eagle is going to be very tough to manage. But now when we do have tailwind, take the club that gives you the most distance, the most topspin, full blast overpower, and try to get as much distance as possible here. Now we clip the rough and roll out, still not going to be any problem for us to reach for the green in 2. And that's the most important part, because this is, in my opinion, no albatross hole. If we do have the skill of making a power hook, then we can make the power hook as our drive to give ourselves another possibility to like gain more distance on the fairway with a tailwind. And then I would say the albatross might be a little bit more in play than what it otherwise would be. Second shot that we're gonna take, not the shot that our opponent is taking because it's too far away from the green, but from the spot that we are there, we're going to under adjust 5%, which means that the ball is going to be slightly less affected by the wind. The thing that I would like you to do is kind of two things. Oh, that was three, but two things. It's like, if you do have the Guardian that has a good amount of distance, I would say minimum level 5 or 6, then you can use the Guardian to try to use a little bit more backspin instead of having to go as close there to the rough line as we did with the Cataclysm. Also, if we do go and make a better drive, let's say that we're consistently driving at least 20-30 yards more, then the Guardian would be perfect because there is a funnel of the back of the green where we can use the very good backspin that we're having on the Guardian to get it back there, to let the ball fall back down towards the pin and possibly make an albatross. Nonetheless, 5% over adjustment, and here it's just a normal approach towards the pin as we do not have distance enough to use the funnel on the back. Hole number 4, and here we come to a par 3 where I would suggest you to actually play the rough bump with this type of wind. And the rough bump I mean on the top of the right bunker. Now you cannot see me playing that shot here now. It's because it's a route that was figured out after this recording was made in October 2018. But this route isn't bad either. Max side spin to the right, 1 to 2 bars of backspin depending on what wind you're having. And then we over adjust 20%, and we're going with a little bit too much curl. I would want us to go with around 25% of the ball outside the adjustment ring with this type of crosswind. Then we're gonna be close and we're gonna have the possibility to make the eagle. I would say once again though, doing the rough bump there, which will be featured in the tournament if the wind is in our favor for that, that's gonna be a very good way to make a hole-in-one. Hole number 5, here I would say we're gonna see a lot of eagles, and the reason for that is something that I'm gonna come to in just a little bit. The drive 10% extra, and we go with as much side spin to the right possible, combined with 4 to 5 bars of topspin. We do not want this ball to go too short, we don't want the ball to go too long, and this is perfect, you know, just at the end of the shadow, mark down the yardage that you're getting. 337, then you are able to build your adjustment from that, because the trick is always on the par 4s to get the drive to get to approximately the same place all the time, then you dial it in there from distance. Our opponent is playing with an X-Mine level 6, and just because I have an Apocalypse level 5 when I'm playing, it doesn't mean that you will need to play with an Apocalypse level 5. You can play this drive as easily with Extra Mile or with a Thor's Hammer here. The only thing that I would like you to stay away from is to use the quarterback, as it wouldn't have the distance enough to get to where we want, and we do want it to be as easy as possible. Now for the second shot, everybody, and here comes the trick here. Like, we have two ways of approaching the pin. One, we can use the fairway island inside the water, bounce up towards the pin using the funnel. The thing with that shot though is that we do need a good ball guideline with our short iron. So if you're not having the Thorny level 8 or the Hornet level 8, the ball guideline is going to not be helpful for you. So you do need that ball guideline to really help you, if so, playing with that funnel. Otherwise, you're gonna play it as we're doing here now, max backspin approach, and then approach the pin. You need to over adjust 10% to get the ball to where we aim. And obviously now with a great shot, this ball will not get into hole, but I do believe with a perfect, we would have had a good chance. We go over to the second of the par 5s. Here we play with a 20% over adjustment, and we play with max side spin to the left and 5 bars of topspin. I would say with a tailwind, it's enough to play with 4. We don't want to play with too much, because if we make a really crappy drive and get a glitchy roll, we're gonna have a problem in getting the ball to, in that case, it's gonna go roll too far and I'm gonna go into the rough. As I said, 20% extra, and we do not need to do anything else than just making a regular shot. Bounce over on the fairway, over the rough, over the sand, and now we end up here. Now we're going to have a sniper towards the pin. A power 3 ball is a must here though. I'm not expecting people to play with a bunch of kingmakers because it's not really necessary, but I would say a Titan would be very valuable. The only thing that I would like to add here is, like, if we do have a headwind, you might need to use a little bit of overpower for the first shot, because the headwind, as we already are in maximum distance of our club, the headwind will obviously get ourselves into overpower, and to not get the ball to bounce into the sand with the second bounce, then we do need to use the overpower, so we go over there nicely and not risking anything. Curl is not needed as our opponent is doing. I think it's just to complicate everything. Sure, the shot becomes good, but once again, we don't really need that curl. If we can stay away from curl, then we're gonna be happy. Shot number 2, 0% elevation. We do not need to add or subtract anything. And I'm using backspin combined with side spin to the right here. The thing that I would like to do is to get the ball up to the green using like the back, that is like almost like a skateboard ramp, to get up a little bit and fall down towards the right. The only mistake that I'm doing here is that I'm using curl for my second shot, and that's not something that I would like you to do, because the ball will, once it gets to green, it will go up and it will fall down to the right. So now when we're curling it, we're coming in too much to the right, and that's gonna be very tough to get the roll that we do want. Hole number 7, the final of the par 4s, a decent opportunity for an eagle. I'm not gonna say it's a super opportunity, but it's a decent one. First, if we do have a headwind in some form, like now, we are going to use the quarterback and we're going to use at least a power 1 ball. It's all about what you want to spend here, because the only thing that we're going to do for a drive now is that we're going to lay up on the top right. 10% extra for the drive, 1-0, and then we're going to adjust for that, combine with backspin and also side spin to the right. Slight curl to the right to just great proof it. So let's say if we would be hitting great left, then we would not go into the bunker. We land there very nicely, and now we do have a shot for the pin. So let's say we would be having a tailwind in some form, or for those players, a player of you having an Apocalypse level 5 plus, or let's say like this, a very high level driver. And then we can play on, if you take the bunker that is in the center of the fairway, then we play on the left side using a lot of curl to the right to bounce over the water. We can also play a power slice with that shot to get it over the water, trying to get the ball to roll past the trees, stay on the fairway, have an open shot towards the pin. But that's only if we do have some sort of tailwind, or for those of you, once again, having a higher level club, can play that shot with a straight crosswind. But with headwind, I would like you to stay away from that shot, as you know, we do not want to struggle with the second shot either. Shot number 2, 20% extra. We're playing with a long iron and we're going to bounce underneath the tree range there, and that's the beauty with laying up there instead of trying to cross over the water, because if we bounce over the water, the trees will be in play. So then we need to curl around the trees. Here we don't have to. We can bounce underneath the tree, and then we do have a decent opportunity getting this ball towards the green. And 20% extra, as I said, I'm not using any spin here. I would, though, depending on the position and the wind, use a little bit of a side spin to the left to move my target further out from the rough and the sand line. So with a great left, it's not gonna be that I'm gonna clip the rough because I'm aiming too close. Very close to get the eagle, absolutely a possibility, but once again, it's a tough par 4. Hole number 8, the final of the par 3, and we are going to play with a sniper as well. Our opponent is going first, and here, as I stated in the hole guide, you can play this par 3 very differently. The most important part is that you find a route that works for you, then you go with that no matter what anyone else is saying. One thing that I think is crucial though is to play with a ball that gives you wind resistance 3. And sure, if you're playing in pro, the wind won't be that high, but I think the lower wind that we're having on this one, the less extra effect from the bounce the ball is going to get. Kind of obviously logic. But the less effect it has, the easier it's going to be for us to not do what our opponent is doing that, because even though this is a short rough iron, this is a very, it's a shot of pressure, I would say. So the thing that I'm doing is that I'm using max backspin here with my sniper, and that's 6.5. If you do not have a sniper level 9 or level 10 that has 6.5, then you go with the Guardian instead, in my opinion. 2.5 bars side spin to the right, which is side spin that I don't want you to use. I want you to remove that and actually play without, because even if we aim on the left side, when the ball is hitting the ground, it's going to be pushed first by a natural push to the right from the fairway, combined with the wind. It's gonna take this ball to go a lot to the right. So the side spin is needed to get removed and the backspin we keep. You can see here we bounce on the fairway, we come in here and we go short to the right. So remove the side spin to the right, use the backspin, then you're gonna be fine. 10% extra for that shot. Hole number 9, here we come to a par 5 where, you know, we need to play it safe. Like, do not try to push it too hard for the albatross. I understand, and I believe there will be a lot of players asking me, oh Tommy, can't I power slice this one with an extra mile level 4? Obviously you can, but in the end this is all about getting the eagle, because you're gonna notice from where our opponent is for his second shot, trying to attempt a power slice using the island on the left. I'm playing conservative, using a driver with side spin, 4 to 5 bar side spin to the left, and in crosswind no backspin. In tailwind 1 to 1.5 bar backspin, and in headwind I'm going with 1 to 1.5 bar topspin, trying to get my ball to around 320 yards up to the top left corner. Because you can see our opponent, even with a power 5 ball, trying to power slice that shot over, bouncing on the island over here to the other side, he will not be able to reach for the green in 2. So why even bother taking the risk? Sure, you can if you are very lucky and you having a lot of skill that you can get the ball over the water, landing on the fairway, and then you might have a shot with a wood club with curl and everything, try to get the albatross from a very long distance. I see that as an absolute minor possibility making the albatross. So therefore, once again, I lay up, I play it safe, I'm taking my eagle, and then I focus on the other courses to get something extra. Because I think we're gonna lose the eagle more than what we're going to gain an extra albatross attempt. Hear me there, attempt on, not getting it, but an attempt. And if I'm gonna put that into like, okay, yeah, it's an easy decision. 4 to 6 bars of topspin, max side spin to the right, then we will have to go with a little bit of overpower. Here in this case I'm using a lot of curl, trying to push it as hard as I can to get this ball to the green, or at least have a line towards the green. Problem with curl, and the problem obviously when we're using too much or too little overpower, is that we're gonna get a double bounce in the rough and roll out on the fairway. Still a safe eagle there for our wedge. Everybody, thank you so much for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert. I do believe that we're gonna see not that low scores. I do believe we're gonna see people win this tournament, depending on the wind obviously, for around 27, 28, 29, which is normal, which is fun, you know. It's courses where the par 5s, if you make a bad drive, it's almost bye-bye to reach the green in 2. If you do play well on the par 4s, you get opportunity on all 3 of them. The par 3s are tough, there is opportunities, but kind of like some tricky ones. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you think the winning score will be for Pro and also for Expert. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Get the text guys by signing up on Patreon, and also visit Golf Clash Tommy for more Golf Clash related content. All the links in the video description down below. Thank you so much for watching and good luck in the City of Lights tournament.